The speed, the global stage, the thrill of exhilarating competition. Formula One races are dynamic experiences captured and shared with millions across the world. From the inaugural World Championship in 1950 to the cutting-edge multi-cam high-definition digital broadcasts of today, Formula One racing has been electrifying fans for generations. With decades and decades of races came a staggering volume of footage, and F1 was finding it increasingly difficult to manage their burgeoning media library. They needed an innovative solution.
Formula One's brand is built on the racing heritage and the pedigree that started back in the 1950s, and we hold much of the archive from the 1970s all the way through to the current era. It's very important to Formula One that the heritage of the sport, the action and the history is held for the fans.
Earliest footage back in the 1970s, there were just a few film reels being shot at each race. Then you get into the 1980s and we have international feed TV coverage of the races recorded. And then as we get sort of through the 90s, 2000s up to present day, the amount of content's just completely exploded.
Years ago, there were 14 races. Now there's 23 races. It's growing at quite a rapid rate.
It was quite clear to us that we had to consolidate everything that we have into a more usable and searchable and identifiable repository of content to tell stories today about what's happening in the sport and what happened yesterday.
It's just a big, vast amount of content. The metadata and logging them and making sure we know what's on them has been an almighty challenge.
We estimate around 150,000 hours of footage, hundreds of thousands of individual video assets, and it covers sort of all content captured at Grand Prix. So it's international feed footage, it's onboard camera recordings from all the cars, so a really vast range of stuff.
Our storage system started to become to full capacity almost immediately, and it was a constant challenge then to keep up with the amount of content being produced in comparison to the physical storage we needed to have on site. This is really quite unsustainable.
What Formula One needed was Media2Cloud.
The AWS Solutions Media2Cloud implementation provides customers like Formula One with a vetted, well-architected foundation that can be deployed and used instantly or reconfigured to meet their unique needs.
AWS Professional Services worked with Formula One on the first phase of their video archive migration project. We used the AWS Media2Cloud solution as a way to get us started on that migration activity, using the media ingest pipeline components of that modular architecture, if you like, a Formula One analogy, taking the engine out, customizing it, and using it in the way that we needed to.
AWS's Media2Cloud solution is a serverless end-to-end ingest and processing workflow for moving video assets and metadata into AWS. We used it to demonstrate to Formula One how we could migrate their video tape archive from a tape robot into AWS and then integrate it with their user workflows.
We had to make sure in this process that the video was being moved from A to B, from on-premises into AWS with the Media2Cloud approach, such that we could be absolutely sure that the video and the audio files had arrived intact and 100% the way they were when they left our on-premises archive systems. AWS's Media2Cloud approach helped us to set up transcode systems, so as the video arrived into AWS, it was transcoded into 3 different levels of mezzanine and proxy files for searching and storage and for everyday use.
A critical point is that as well as moving the legacy tape robot archive into AWS, what we provided had to work with the most recent race content. And a point I'd really like to stress is that it's about enabling user workflows that can work in the same way for the most recent content as they can for content from 30 or 40 years ago. The nice thing about Media2Cloud is that its architectural components are fully customizable. For phase 1 of the project, Formula One wanted to concentrate on their ingest and transcoding pipelines and skip the analysis workflow. So it's easy for us to remove the analysis engine state machine.
Being able to log, being able to tag, having that visibility as this content comes in, rather than treating it as a backlog all the time, and actually building a system that takes a weekend like we just had this weekend and takes all that, not only delivers it to our partners, but we're also able to monitor, log, and like you said, use that metadata. So we, whilst it's going in, we're already sort of halfway through the solution a little bit.
Now the Formula One video archive migration is underway, our attentions have turned to the build-out of an AWS native media asset management solution. AWS Media2Cloud will remain central to that solution as we extend capabilities and improve content discoverability.
F1 needed a cloud-based system that would allow us to scale up our operation beyond the boundaries of the building that we currently work in. We needed superior tagging and metadata capabilities that would give our editors and researchers more feedback and ease of use and speed when searching for content. And the AWS Media2Cloud solution gave us that.
With building solutions, we're not just showcasing the solution to the customer, we're providing them with the reference architecture and the blueprint to make it easy for them to get started on AWS.
Formula One needed to get control of its archive. The sheer rate of expansion meant that we were always playing catch up. So a solution such as Media2Cloud with AWS both enabled us to get ahead of the game in storing our archive, but also looking to the future using AI and machine learning to be able to identify what we have and to then surface that to the fans to help tell the next story of the sport.
F1 continues to accelerate the global fan experience. With the framework developed using Media2Cloud from AWS Solutions, Formula One now has a cloud-based resolution for safeguarding and managing valuable media assets of races from years past and years to come.